Yo, what's up, everybody? And thank you for tuning in to another Tyler Perry Sistas review. This is season 5, the premiere, episode 1, entitled Pain and Suffering. I felt like I experienced pain and suffering watching this damn episode, but you know what? That's neither here nor there. We gonna get into it. I'm not gonna go scene from scene. I'm probably gonna, do a combination of scenes or whatever. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning family member, you already know what it is and what it always will be. I'm gonna jump around. It's not gonna be in any particular order. I have no notes. All I did was write down the individual scenes with the people in them, so I know what happened. I watched the episode one time. So we're gonna see how this goes. Don't worry, I'm gonna give y'all what I always give y'all. So I'm gonna start with Danny and Preston. That scene pissed me off. It did not give what I think Preston wanted it to have given. Basically, Preston approached Danny to let her know that, he was gonna go home and gonna propose to his longtime girlfriend. And if Danny didn't want him to marry this other woman, then she needed to stop him. And I'm like, what the hell is this? What are you doing? What? Preston hasn't been on my fave list in a long time. I don't want Danny and Preston together. That's just me. I'm not a Destin fan. I felt like, number one, the audacity and the gall to approach this woman to tell her that you're going to marry someone else. That's number one. 2, you're putting the responsibility on Danny to stop you when you are a grown-ass man and you are more than capable of making your own decisions. That was another thing. It was a lot of red flags to me when it came to Preston. I know a lot of people ride for Preston. I have rolled for Preston at times. I don't believe that all the time Danny has been fair and just when it comes to him. But there are a lot of things that Preston has done that has really just turned my stomach on him. And this was definitely one that added to that for me. I'm just like, and the other thing was, we don't know this other lady. We really don't even care about this other lady. But it's just the fact that you want to be with Danny. Y'all need to figure out y'all mess, but you're willing to propose and ask someone to commit to you for a lifetime. And that's not where you want to be. I was like really pressing y'all, you need to do some soul searching. Maybe you do need to go home, get away from Danny and just find out who the hell you are because you obviously have lost yourself. I'm just like, whoa. I felt like, how sometimes you can be with someone and they say something so stupid like, yeah, I'm thinking about, getting back together with such and such. And they just want to see how you respond. And it's like, I'm one of them people like, don't do that with me because you're going to get your feelings hurt. Oh, that's where, you thinking about getting back with, okay, I think you should do that. So you just going to let me go. I'm not letting you do anything. I'm honoring what you said you wanted to do. I'm not here to hold on if you rather be someone else, be with someone else. And I just felt like Preston was doing that to get a response out of Danny. And she shed some tears. I'm like, don't cry. They should have been playing Mary J. Blige, Not Gonna Cry. Don't cry, sis. Let him go. Because the fact that this man done told you he want to marry someone else, bye. There is no more conversation for us to have after that. There is none. And so we see these 2 other people. I don't even remember their names. That was introduced on last night's episode. The wife, the B word was said so much in last night's episode. Like it was team too much. It was team too much. And so this woman needed help to catch this flight so they can go get their son from camp. I think he broke his leg or something. And I hope they have some type of validity in the series because we didn't need to know all that. Like, for what? But anyway, she called Danny a B, I think, twice. And I'm like, really, sis? Danny kept her composure. She did what she had to do because, I want to speak to your supervisor. I want you fired. I was like, you little black Karen, go sit down somewhere. I'm going to just leave that alone because that was really, all that was. The husband was very apologetic to Danny about his wife and, all that stuff like that. I just didn't understand why they were necessary unless they're going to be a part of the series in some way because baby girl was doing too much. Sabrina in jail. Lord, my sister. I felt bad for Sabrina. I felt bad because Sabrina is completely innocent. Sabrina doesn't know what's going on. She didn't do anything, and she, was maintaining her innocence. You know what I'm saying? The lady was like, is that your hair? We gonna have to cut it off. I said, well, wait, hold the hell. She's in jail, not prison. And you just holding her. Has she been charged with anything? We don't know much about the situation with Sabrina being in jail. Where Maurice ass? I'm sorry, I don't feel bad for Maurice because one, and those who have listened to me several times about Sistas, it's the fact that Q held Maurice and Sabrina at gunpoint, and Maurice allowed this man to stay at his house, to cook for him, to do all of these things as if it makes it okay. I don't understand. And I know sometimes, don't get me wrong, TV shows can be outlandish. You know what I'm saying? It's fallacy, and I get that. But it's like, come on now. This man put a gun to your head, robbed your place of employment, and he's sleeping on your couch. That's just a little bit unbelievable. I just feel bad for Sabrina. Maurice, that's a whole nother story. I'm gonna try to gain some sympathy for him next review, but it ain't today. So Calvin and Q. So Calvin comes home and he's very adamant. What you doing here? Where's Maurice? Like, he just stern. I'm like, no, don't do that, because you've been caping for Maurice. You've been caping for Q these past couple episodes, wanting Maurice to have a heart, to let him stay there and all of this stuff like that. Now all of a sudden, because he tried you, now you want him to go? I was like, Calvin just irks me. You know what I'm saying? Calvin irks me. He just irks my soul because he was so adamant initially, standing firm. I'm like, yeah, Calvin, kick his ass out. Kick his ass out. A plate of food. You hear me? You hear me, church? A plate of food changed Calvin's mind. I said, Calvin, what? And y'all, what the hell was that? Macaroni and cheese and steak? I don't even know what it was. But whatever it was, it made Calvin sing a different tune. Oh, yeah, I guess it's all right. You can stay. Q claims he doesn't know where Maurice is. Calvin brings up the fact that he keeps getting this call from this correctional facility. It didn't, ring in your mind, at least answer one time to see who could be calling you. You live with Maurice. He's touched. It just might be him. But you never thought to answer your phone. Okay, then we see, I guess Q cut off Calvin's phone when Calvin went to the sink or something. But y'all know how I feel about that storyline. I don't like it in the least bit. But he calls, I can't think of the officer name, and basically, like, he's still in them. Like, yeah, they been turned in, they're arrested, but you need to get a job, you need to stay low, stay out of trouble. Q's concern is that he's going to walk. And I think it was one episode, I don't remember the specific episode, but he said something about the fact, like, he told Maurice, like, basically he's selfish. He's all about himself. And I'm like, he didn't lie. But after that, how you let that man stay in your house? How you feel comfortable having him in your house? I don't get it. I really don't. So I'm going to go to Karen and Pam, who are in the hospital after Karen was spotting. And at this time, we really don't know what's going on, except the fact that the doctors have ran tests, but we don't know what's going on. And it was a little, cute moment. Pam was telling Karen that, she actually does look up to her and she admires her and things of that nature. And I said, you know what, and I saw a lot of people was like, how you going to look up to her in her life? I get it. But I think there was a real representation, because a lot of times we fashion ourselves based on how we perceive someone else. And I remember just personally doing these videos and things of that nature, people feel like they know you or they're connected to you in some way. And so I would get a lot of messages, especially with younger people younger than me, about how, like, a role model. And I'm like, wait, I'm not trying to be a role model. I don't think that's my ministry. You know what I'm saying? My ministry is just to, do what I do in excellence, whatever it is that I do, and just, bring laughter, bring joy with wisdom as well, and so I did appreciate that moment between Pam and Karen, and it goes to show that your life can be jacked up, and you may not be in the place that you want to be financially, spiritually, economically, so on and so forth. But there's something that you possess that is a blessing to someone else. And that's something that we all could take, all could take from that. We're not where we want to be. We may not be where we once were, but we may not be at our, destination that we choose to be either. But exactly where you are, you still can be instrumental in someone else's life. Even if you got some jacked up parts of your life, because we all got some jacked up parts. But Karen doesn't want anyone to know she's in the hospital. She didn't want Pam to tell anybody. And, so Pam was like, all right. So, we know Pam normally don't keep a secret and normally can't keep her mouth shut. But she did this episode. And I was very proud of Pam. She showed some growth. And so, we get the same scene where Karen mom is calling Miss Lisa. We ain't seen in a month of Sundays. And so instantly, just like a mama, she knew something was wrong with her child. And so she was like, tell me where you are. So Karen tells her. We see Miss Lisa come to the hospital. And basically, we find out that Karen's life at this moment, other than the baby daddy situation, is mirroring Lisa's life with Karen's dad. He was immature. He was childish. She had to make sure that she was, responsible, that she made sure they had a roof over their heads and things of that nature. And then he got on his feet, married someone else. And then Ms. Lisa felt like this woman was reaping the benefit of her hard work. And so we see the same thing happen, the parallel with Karen. And it's just like, yeah, and I do understand that, but that's a part of life. And I'm not saying it doesn't hurt. And I'm not saying it's not a real thing. It is a real thing. But I also think about a lot of times, especially when we are, and I'm men and women, when we get with people in our 20s or young, late teenage years, and we with these people for 5 and 6 years, or it doesn't matter what age you are, you do have a certain perception of how you want this person to be with you. And when they don't live up to that, but then you see them doing that with someone else, you know what I'm saying? You tend to think like, why couldn't he or she do that with me? You just wasn't that person. And it's not a dig on you. That person just may not have been ready to be that type of man that you wanted or that type of woman that you wanted. And I do hope that somewhere along the line with Sistas, we can see that type of growth and maturity with Karen. Like, it ain't nothing against you, sis. Zach wasn't ready to be the type of man that you knew he could be with you. And it's just what it is. Deal with that big hurt, sis. Heal through it. Move on. And, you got a good man who want to be with you. Like, be with him. You know what I'm saying? So Karen got to tell her mama that she don't know who the daddy is. That's why there's no one there. Zach isn't, because Miss Lisa was about to call Zach. And she was like, no, don't call him. Like, I don't know. It's a possibility. It could be Aaron's as well, so we don't know. And I know that had to be hard to tell your mama that. But, you grown, sis. You grown, Karen. Hell, you had sex with 2 men in the close vicinity. You don't know who the baby daddy is. I'm not saying that's right, but it's your story, sis. But don't let that be y'all story. And if that is your story, sis, it's okay. We just learn next time. We do better next time. And so, speaking of Aaron, so Aaron goes to the shop because he has been calling Karen nonstop. She ain't been answering her phone. So Pam is like, like, what you do? Pam is just too much sometimes. But I was proud of Pam because Pam did not tell Aaron what Karen was. You know what I'm saying? So we see Andy come in. And same thing, been calling Karen. She's getting concerned. She's getting worried because Karen has returned her phone calls, and that's just not like sis to do. So basically, Aaron and Andy go to the back so they can have a conversation. And so Aaron asked Andy a question that I'm not sure why he asked. I'm not sure why Tyler, of all the things that was written in this episode, this was the one thing I'm like, why? He asked Andy, does Karen still love Zach? I said, no, the hell he didn't ask this. No, Aaron, you're smart. Tyler, why you doing this to my friend? Why you doing this to my friend? Everybody knows that Karen loves Zach. Everybody knows. No one is left without that little tidbit of knowledge. We all know that. Why did you ask that? Like, I don't even understand that question. Like, this is the kind of stuff be pissing me off. Because I'm like, we could have had a deeper, like, what? We could have used something more. And, Andy basically tells Aaron, like, look, Karen is the type of woman that when she needs her space, she's going to take it. So you should probably fall back. And that is what has plagued Aaron this entire series with Sistas, is that he doesn't know when to fall back. And now that there's a possibility that Karen could be carrying his child, I don't see him falling back any. How can he? You know what I'm saying? I don't know what that's like from a man's perspective. You possibly have my child, like you're carrying my child. I'm concerned about you. I want to make sure that you're good. I don't see him falling back from that. It just might get worse, in my opinion. And then Andy tried my man, okay? Andy tried my man. She said, Aaron, did you tell Gary to sue me? I said, don't come for my baby like that. Don't come for my baby like that. Number one, Andy, we don't know everything there is to know about Aaron, just like we don't know everything there is to know about these sisters that we love to hate sometimes. What we do know about Aaron, Andy, you know damn well he didn't tell Gary to sue you. Now, the only thing I don't like about Aaron when it comes to this Gary thing is how much he caped for him. Well, do you know about his past? And like Andy said, I mean, does that give him the right to do what he does? And I hate that. Why men do that? And I'm not saying women don't do it, but I find it more with men than women. Men can do, some men. I'm not categorizing all y'all brothers, okay? I'm not. Some men can do the most foulest things. They could cheat on a woman with her cousin. And then when they get exposed and now they having a conversation, he'll be like, I'm just saying, back in 2010, man, my grandma died. And stop it. Stop it. But this is the kind of stuff that, like, this is real life. What does your grandma passing in 2010 have to do with you cheating on me with my cousin, bro? I don't understand that, but that's the kind of stuff that happens. And I just feel like sometimes, even if Aaron tries to see the best in people, like, sometimes, babe, you got to call a spade a spade. Gary is not a good guy. Gary is not a good guy. Gary is selfish. Gary is about himself. Speaking of Gary, so we just going to jump to, this stuff here. Now, I got to deal with gangster Fatima on Zatima. Then I got to deal with gangster Fatima on Sistas. It's too much. She always want to be shooting some damn body. She asked Andy, could she shoot Hayden? I'm like, you sit down. You need to get help. If you that trigger happy, sis, calm down some. So basically, now, like I said, the B word was said a little bit too much on this episode. Very uncomfortable, especially these men keep calling these women B's. I had a problem with that. I could see if you have 1 or 2 B's per episode, but it was about 6 B's, maybe even more. It was just too much. And so Gary wants to sue Andy. And just like Andy told him, I'm going to win. Basically, you bought me a car and you purchased me a penthouse and you put these in my name. What are you suing me for? And for pain and suffering? Like, dude, the fact that you can even fix your mouth to say that is a whole ass problem. So basically, I did see a lot of people who were like, oh, finally Andy and Gary is getting the closure that they need. And now they both sitting up here with tears streaming down their face. And I'm just like, because we know who we dealing with. We know that when it comes to Gary, Andy cannot just detach herself from him. And I understand when you love somebody, but baby, you ain't even got, I was about to say, you got one time to squeeze me to I'm unconscious. Nah, brother, that ain't happening because I'm probably going to kill you. But what we have seen with Gary and Andy, we know that these are two people who do not need to be together in any way, shape, or form. And I'm like, they crying, I'm not good for you. You're not good for me. We know that. I need you to say that it's over. I need you to say that it's over. I'm like, he gonna say it's over. Y'all gonna have sex again. And lo and behold, when I saw the preview, I said, what? What? Anyway. I just was, the conversation was needed. I'm not gonna say that, but that's just what happened. This was like a real life. Even though this episode pissed me off, but it was like real life. A lot of stuff, like when I'm listening to Andy and Gary have their conversation. So many people have that conversation, and we find ourselves back with that person in a sexual way, or because the feelings are too strong. They're too like raw. We still in it. We still think that person can change. We still think that they can be the people that we want them to be. And it's just like, but to whose expense, and to how much time are you going to waste on something that you just need to give up? And I know that sometimes that's easier said than done, but it's like, make the first step. Leave each other alone. Y'all was doing good. I'm trying to understand, in what world is somebody suing? The fact that Gary is suing Andy, what part of that turned her on? What part of that makes her want him even more? That's the part I'm having difficulty understanding. Like, if my ex-man tell me, Alicia, I'm going to sue you for X, Y, and Z and for pain and suffering, and you think I'm about to have sex with you the same day? If I was 21, I might. Let me stop. No, I'm serious. I probably would. I don't know. I'm trying to put myself in my 21-year-old mind, because I was something then. I don't know. But now, what the hell? I don't know. I just, no. No, I can't. I just can't. But you know what's sad though? Well, I'm not gonna say sad. All the men kind of was trying it all the men were really trying it in this episode. So we get to not that this wasn't a cute scene, because it was, the scene with Zach and Fatima. And so he takes her back to the place that they initially met when she ran him over with her car, excuse me, when he was on his bicycle. And he had a cute little saying. He was talking about how he's never met anyone like her. He's never loved a woman like her before. And I'm not mad at that, because I do feel like Zach should be able to move on. Zach should be able to have whatever type of love that he wants to have, and to give the type of love that he wants to have. And Karen just wasn't that woman, and that's perfectly fine. My only gripe and issue is that, especially for those who watch Zatima as well, we are obviously, and we saw it on Sistas too, that we're seeing Zach move on. We're actually seeing him move on and progress with his life, and yet and still we're seeing Karen being stagnant when it comes to this situation. And I know that she's pregnant, so that's added emotions and things of that nature. But it's like, I do want to, and this is for all of them. And I know sometimes I talk about this and it's probably not going to happen, and that's fine. But, I do know that a lot of us do want to see these women in a happy place. Now, this was shocked me. So, Tracy, I just want to give you a shout out, sis, because I'm horrible on Twitter. I'm horrible, okay, with a lot of stuff. And you always keep me informed and tag me and send me stuff. And I really do appreciate you greatly. It doesn't go unnoticed. I'm truly thankful for you. I saw a little bit of the live with Manon and Ebony. I didn't see all of it. I'm talking about very, very little of it. And Manon was basically saying how this is a very dark season. And I was like, what? What? And she was like, I know that they've been dark since season 1. Yeah. I'm like, Tyler, we can't get no sunshine. We can't get no light at the end of this damn Sistas tunnel, bruh. You've been giving us dark for a long time. And I want to see these women happy. I want to see them in successful relationships. Drama happens. Things happen. But I'm like, damn, please, bruh. But when I talked about how all the men kind of tried it this episode, when Zach was like, if I mess up, we not bringing that energy into our relationship. If I mess up, what you mean? What you mean if I mess up? Then promise me we'll always come here. I said, wait a minute. And see, I ain't that type of woman, because when you talking about if, my brain is thinking, okay, so you're already planning the possibility of you doing something. What is brewing up in you that you might do something that I'm going to have a problem with? And what is the definition of mess up? Because anytime I hear mess up, I'm thinking about you having sex with somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I be feeling. So I didn't understand that. But other than that, it was a cute little scene. You know what I'm saying? Fatima was hungry. She was like, all right, this romantic stuff, I'm ready to eat. I was like, that's real talk, sis. That's real talk. That's real talk. I'm so sad. But I'm trying to understand how the hell, going backwards, how the hell Zach gets into this law firm. You literally fought an attorney in that firm, and you just can happy-go-lucky just walk up in there to get Fatima. I'm just, continuity plays a big part, and continuity is something that we definitely do not see with Sistas. And I think that's what causes a lot of people to be upset. Yeah, you may have some outlandish storylines, some things that don't make sense, and I get all of that. It's fallacy, it's make-believe. But can you at least have continuity to what you're doing? I think that would make a lot of things a lot better. I really do. I really do. And then another way a man tried it, we have Hayden talking to Gary. And, he was like, you ain't never had no woman as bad as Andy, blah, blah, blah. So he says that he had Fatima. And Gary asked him how long were they together. And Hayden just, went past that question, because I'm like, yeah, you and Fatima had sex once. She wasn't your girlfriend. Y'all were not in a relationship. That's why he couldn't answer that question. Like, yeah, I be pulling these bees. I'm just like, Hayden. And this is the thing. We gonna give some advice to some men. And I'm saying men because I see it more in men than women. The people around you know if you are a lame, okay? They know that you're not pulling women. They know that you don't have it like that. And the sad part is you don't know that they know that you don't have it like that. And it's just funny. And don't get me wrong, there are women who, who embellish as well. But it's just funny seeing men do it. Like, you do know the person you're talking to do not believe anything that you're saying, right? But it's, it was what it was. This episode, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I feel bad for my sister, Sabrina, who, in jail right now. I think I got everything. I hope I did. Like, I didn't write any notes. All I did was write down the characters' names, and I try to remember everything that happened. Because I saw the episode one time. I didn't think it was anything like, it's same old, same old. So I'm not, what I'm saying, I'm not expecting much. But, this was an okay episode, I guess. It didn't do it for me, just to be honest. But, you know what I'm saying? We gonna ride this thing out. We gonna ride it till the wheels fall off, and I'll be back with the preview breakdown a little, Saturday or Sunday some days. But I hope you guys are. I'm trying to think, because I'm trying to go through the episode in my head just to see if I actually talked about everything, and I think I did. Yeah, I did. Okay. Yes, thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it. Until next time, I will holler at y'all later. Y'all be safe out there. Have a good one. Until next time, I will holler at y'all later.